Well, hello, I'm Tom Kolba, and I'm going to be your instructor for your Humanities 202 class for this second session summer at Thomas Nelson, and I just want to welcome you to the class. You'll have to forgive me. I've been suffering one of those awful chest head colds, and I'm just now starting to get over it. But I do want to welcome you to the class. And one of the reasons that I'm using this video is by way of introduction, but also to let you know that I'm what they call an out-of-state instructor. And in this case, I'm really out of state. I live in California. For those of you who have already worked with me in Humanities 201, you already know this story, so you can skip this part until you get to the rest of the information you need for your Humanities 202 class. But I'll be brief anyway. I lived in Virginia for a number of years. In fact, I was finishing up my graduate work through a school here in California while I was living in Virginia. I went there to be closer to my father in 2004. He died in 2009, and I had no other family there. So I decided that I wanted to be closer to my son, and that's where the California connection comes in, because we live here now in California. But while I was in Virginia, I lived in Williamsburg, worked at St. Bede Catholic Church, the old one on Harrison, but mainly at the new one on Ironbound. So if you've been out that way, you know where it is. And I absolutely fell in love with Colonial Williamsburg. I love that place, and William and Mary College. But I also lived in Hampton. I lived off of King Street between Rip Rap and Pembroke. And I remember Pembroke because I once had a minor speeding ticket, like the first one I've ever received in my life, for driving. I must have been on King, I think. Yeah, because I lived on something called Spanish Trail. Yeah, Spanish Trail. So King must have been the street where the guy caught me, and I went to the court that's on Pembroke. And must be Pembroke and King then, I think, somewhere, and you know where it is. Also, I loved walking Buckrow Beach. I missed that as well, and I used to walk that even when it was snowing. So I do have a lot of fond memories of Virginia, but mainly Hampton and Williamsburg. So, and I worked for Thomas Nelson and Hampton University, both schools face-to-face and online. And when I moved to California, both schools just allowed me to continue as an online instructor, and I teach for both schools even today. So I'm very proud to be associated with Thomas Nelson, Hampton U as well, but I've been with Thomas Nelson the longest. So that's kind of the short history of why you have a teacher who's teaching an online class and he lives in California. Okay, that should be pretty self-explanatory. I still have friends at Thomas Nelson, although some of them have retired by now. Anyway, welcome again to the class. I think usually this first video is a lot longer. I make these videos every week. And, well, of course, in this case, that'll be 5 weeks. But the first thing I should let you know is since the class is starting on a Thursday, our class week or our course week, work week, will run from Thursday morning through the following Wednesday night, okay? So then each Thursday morning, I'll have another one of these videos available for you, plus any of the cosmetic changes that I make to Blackboard to introduce the new assignment. But I'll also let you know that I do practically everything's discussion board. And so all 5 weeks will be available to you. I won't hide anything. I don't like doing that. So that if you have to go back and redo something, or maybe you can't do a week 2, and you want to go back week 4 to do week 2, that's fine with me. I'll let you set your own schedule on how you want to pace yourself with the course. But what you can do to get started is off to the left on the Blackboard side. You'll see a column content area. Go through all of those. The start here kind of lets you know how to get a hold of me. I'm best with email, but if you want to set up a time to talk or Skype, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. I want to make sure that I am available to you when you need me. So I check emails every day. So if you have questions, you can email me. That's one way, because I teach face-to-face here. I teach other online classes. So some days I'm running like a madman and other days I'm home. And go through all of those tabs. You'll see I have one for the syllabus. And the syllabus contains everything you need for the course. A lot of it is just general Thomas Nelson information, but on page 8, I have the textbook information. And then from pages 10 through 13, it's all course related. So you see the dates for all the assignments. You see any of the details related to the class. I even have a grading chart in here so you can keep track of your points. I do everything by the point system. So my class is going to be all cut and dry, especially for a 5-week session. So essentially, you're going to have a lot of reading because we're covering chapters. Actually, there's 2 books. For those of you who took 201 with me, you know that there's a larger primary book. It's called Experience Humanities. For Humanities 202, we're covering chapters 14 through 23. That'll be to the end of the book. There's also a smaller book. It's called Readings to Accompany Experience Humanities, Volume 2. And the version I have has on the cover, the image is of the arch in St. Louis. And you'll see images. There's no need for me to try and show it to you here on camera. But in the syllabus, there's an image of it. And then I have a separate tab in the content area where you can open up for the textbooks, and it shows you the ISBNs. It shows you what the books look like, okay? There are 2 books. Again, the first one, the primary one, chapters 14 through 23, and then there will be readings in the readings to accompany. I'll have suggested or assigned readings for you each week. Now, it's not a concern, but what you need to be aware of, because this is a 5-week course, you'll be covering 2 chapters all 5 weeks. So the first one is going to be 14, 15, 16, 17, right on the line 22 through 23, okay? Some of these are longer chapters, and I realize you're not going to be able to read every single word in all the chapters. I get that. Plus, what I have for you in the smaller book. So what I generally ask students to do is to skim it, find something that's of interest to you, become familiar with the entire chapter, but focus on something that's interesting to you in either the primary or the secondary text, the reader's text, and then simply write your post reflecting your interest in that. My belief is that if you're writing about something that's of interest to you, it will be more interesting. And I generally ask for a paragraph each week or more related to your interest in whatever you find in the books, and then reply to 2 other students. And I have the dates and everything set in the discussion board. You'll see that when you open it up. I have and then you have a paragraph for the 2 replies. Let's see, I want to make sure I get this all done here pretty quickly for you. Also, I have chapter videos related to every chapter that you'll be covering. But it's more important that you read the chapter material, and then if you want to supplement with the chapter videos, that's fine. They're optional, and I have sometimes 10, sometimes 12, sometimes 8 or 9 videos for each chapter. So each Thursday, I'll be rolling through those, deleting the previous chapter and adding in for the new ones, okay? So that you're kept current. So you've got the chapter videos, the reading, so that you become very, very familiar with the material. That's how cut and dry it's going to be. There's one course essay, and believe me, it's a very easy one. It's only, I think, 200 to 400 words. Look at the assignments tab and read my instructions, and it will become very clear to you what I'm looking for. I think I have a due date on that one of sometime, maybe July 16th. That's the due date for the midterm essay. I think that's what it is. I can't remember offhand. And then I have one examination for you, and it'll cover questions. This is why you need to read the material as much as you can. It's going to cover, it'll have questions from every chapter, both in the primary and in the secondary text. But it's all open book. You don't have to cram for it. It's all open book. You can take the exam at home. And I give you a study guide that helps you find the answers on the page where I've taken the question. That's already available to you, as is the course essay. You can do that anytime you want over the 5 weeks. But when you get into that part in the syllabus, you'll see I have deadlines for that you'll have to have it submitted by a particular date, okay? Gosh, I can't think of anything else that I want to talk. I try not to give you too much this first video. You'll notice that for the first week, you actually have 2 assignments. The first one is to do an introduction of yourself. You'll see mine's already there. That's worth 40 points. And if you want to include a photo, that's fine. It's not required. I have mine. My son and I have been to San Francisco a few. I'm in Los Angeles, but we like going up to San Francisco and just knock around. So that one is, we went to the Sausalito side of the Golden Gate Bridge, and that's where that photo was taken. And just provide some background for us a little bit for your introduction. And then you go right into the same week. I'm asking you to try and traverse through chapters 14 and 15 and then come up with a post. If you don't have your books yet, don't worry about it. Get them as quickly as possible because you don't want to get too far behind. Let's see if I have that date for you. Yeah, actually, July 1st will be the last day you can drop with a refund, and July 15th will be the last day that you can withdraw from the class. So keep those dates in mind. You can go to the website and find all of this. Find all of this information. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of me. I set up my dining room table here. I have all my little props, and I make videos for you and some of the other online classes. I teach for a school down in South Carolina as well. A history class, and so I'm here busy making videos for all of my students, and you will be included, except yours will just be in a different cycle. I'll have yours available every Thursday for you, okay? So go through all the stuff at the Blackboard site, digest it, and then if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I'm lingering here because I want to make sure I cover all the basics for you before I take off. But again, if I have not answered a question of yours, then do let me know. All right. But again, all 5 of the chapters, the assignments will be open. Everything's open to you for the entire 5 weeks. So because it's a 5-week course, I'm going to let you set your own pace. All right. It's best if you try and get things done weekly. Oh, I know. There'll be at least 1 or 2 times that I'll attempt to set up a live chat session through Blackboard Collaborate. I'll talk more about this next week. They won't be required, but they will serve as alternatives to reading one week. And it's a great way for us to get to know each other in a different environment, just either typing in the chat box or using a microphone. But I'll discuss that more next week. Again, welcome to session 2. Have a very good first week. in humanities, and I want to thank you for registering for my class. And again, any questions, make sure you get a hold of me. Hopefully next week I'll be feeling better than I am now. All right, folks, have a good one and welcome. Thank you.